Welcome back to the Waffle Press Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. It's going to be jarring as hell. Good luck editing this, Gene, who's also my co-host. Say hi, Gene. Hi. Also my co-host, Nick Valero.
Hey, what's up?
I'm just going to keep doing this the whole show. I'm going to get like whiplash. Behind the cameras, our friends, Nunez and Jasmine. Say hi, guys. I love you both so much. And then also, across the way from the cameras, far through the power of the internet, is our friend, Kale, the Youth Critic. Hi, Kale. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Waffle Press listeners. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're doing good. We're happy that you're finally on the show. You're a good friend of the show and of Gene and Mine's. Mm-hmm. And eventually Nick, probably. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. You want to be his friend?
Well, you and I will be friends, Nick. You and I will be friends.
We'll be friends. No, we'll do this. We'll make this happen. We're going to make this happen.
I'm very happy this is happening. But for those like Nick who don't know you, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself, Kale? What are you doing? How's life?
So, Waffle Press listeners, I am Kale Smith. I am the Youth Critic, as Diego mentioned. I am from all the way from the East Coast in Homer, Georgia, where I am currently enrolled at the University of North Georgia film program, and I am a film student. I am not a official film critic, but I do review movies on my podcast. I review current films. I review older films. Actually, this summer, I did a whole retrospective over movies that came out in the summer of '82. And I just do it every now and then. I do the occasional Netflix show. And what's going on in my life? I'm trying to enjoy Thanksgiving and the crazy schedules that come about during the holiday season. And just continuing to make my show and getting ready to graduate college next May.
Oh, wow. Super exciting. Are we invited to that? Graduation, yeah.
To what?
Let's just do it.
Sure, if you can make it.
Let's go to Georgia.
Sure.
Man.
All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. I'm actually kind of down. Before we go on to the rest of the show, though, we have a quick message from our sponsors.
Gotta pay the bills.
Yeah. So, cut.
What are you chewing loudly into the microphone there?
I'm eating a churro from the Grizzly Churro.
It seems very oddly crowded place for you.
Shut up now.
Ooh, let me get a pop. I love this new sponsor, Grizzly Churro Company. Definitely the best churros in SoCal.
Yeah, they make all their ingredients homegrown.
Oh, we're not paid to say this.
If you want to find them, go ahead and find them at Grizzly Churros on their social media down below.
And we're back. That was fun. I like those guys. They pay for us to do stuff, which is really nice.
Their churros are delicious.
They're really awesome.
Also that too, yes. I ate so many when we recorded that. Too many, apparently.
At a certain point, we might have been taking
it wasn't intentional. I just it's the whole thing.
We had like 8.
It wasn't like, I just wanted to make it authentic on the tape. So whatever, it's fine.
What it was?
Yeah, that's all right. But now we got to move on to some movie news. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening.
Absolutely.
Actually, not that really. I was going to get really excited, but if you think about it, there's not actually that much happening right now.
It's the end of the year. It's the end of the year.
Yeah.
Star Wars is coming out in a couple weeks, and that's about it.
Well, you know, it is coming out, but not like for a long time. Incredibles 2, which is finally having a trailer. Mm-hmm. It's been like 30,000 years. It's a teaser. That's right. Yeah. It's just like a 30-second thing. Not crazy, but I mean, for a teaser, it's cool. Yeah.
No, you know what? I'm more interested in whether or not it's going to be centered on Jack.
Yeah, you kind of get that vibe.
Whether or not the movie is going to be more about Jack and like them trying to figure out how to deal with his powers, like them trying to actually figure out what his powers are.
It's funny that you mentioned that because Brad Bird and company have specifically said it's going to be about Helen Parr, and she's not even in the teaser.
That's weird.
It is. Like, I think that's cool because you already got Bob's perspective.
Right.
Yeah. Now you go to Helen's.
Yeah. But I will say
she's not even in the teaser.
I'll say the teasers, they're like, most of the Pixar teasers are like scenes that aren't even in the films, you know, that are kind of like just have nothing to do with the plot.
Well, yeah, because I think
like Coco's was just the dog.
Yeah.
And then was it Frozen's was just Olaf and what was it, the moose?
The moose, yeah.
And they were chasing after the
Yeah,
carrot.
both cute little things, but they had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? Maybe it's because the movie's still under development, and they're like, these are two.
Oh, it comes out like next year.
No, but I mean, maybe. With the way movies are these days, things change within like a month before release.
We're definitely going to talk about that. Yeah. I have so much to say about.
But I mean, just in general, I mean, even Frozen. Frozen was going to be a very different movie 6 months before the actual movie came out, and then they switched the way that it was going to go, and then it became the movie we have now.
Well, they just really changed the ending.
Every kid sings "Let It Go" too.
Yeah.
Which, to his credit, is a very good song.
I like that song.
It's a very good song. That's what got me to watch the movie initially. I saw that on YouTube and I was like, that was amazing.
I need to know what this is too.
Yeah. Kale, what do you think of the Incredibles teaser?
I am really excited that Jack is going to play a more prominent part in the movie, or if that's what they're implying, because the whole bit of Jack just having different powers and going through and even cutting the eye to symbolize a 2, I think that. I think that's a great way to introduce the new logo, and I think and I'm really excited because this is one of the few Pixar movies I didn't get to see in theaters. I had to choose between the Polar Express and Incredibles when it came out.
Ouch.
And I chose Polar Express. I don't know why. I just had to. It was like a Sophie's Choice, and I just flipped a coin on that one. But when I saw The Incredibles, I really enjoyed it. It's one of my top 5 favorite Pixar movies, and I have been dying, like you guys, to see the sequel. So yes,
undermined.
And the thing is that I feel that was a lot of people. A lot of people went to go see Express instead of The Incredibles, and I think that's the reason why it's taken such a long time for us to get a sequel.
That's not the reason at all, though.
But I mean,
it did well, but it didn't like.
They didn't do Toy Story.
It didn't do Toy Story well, but the big thing was that Brad Bird didn't have an idea.
Yeah,
and thankfully Pixar didn't just push for the sequel thing back then,
like Toy Story 2
or Cars 2. Yeah.
What do you mean Toy Story 2?
Yeah, he followed up with another good movie called Ratatouille.
Oh yeah, Brad Bird did Ratatouille after.
Oh, that's
right. But they didn't rush it, and I think hopefully that's a good sign.
I like when you hear of I don't have any more stories. I don't really know what to tell about them or anything like that. Instead of just coming up with what about if Mater's a spy?
Say what you will about the Star Wars prequels. George Lucas didn't do Star Wars sequels after Return of the Jedi for a lot of reasons, but he didn't want to do anymore. So he's like, nah, I'm good.
I just want my little films.
Yeah.
I just want to do my small films, and my wife left me. And it's very sad, actually. Listen to the Star Wars retrospective that I'm doing right now. We go into a lot. It's actually really sad. And
it is.
I want to hug George Lucas. I feel bad.
I just want to make our
poor George.
Please for other stuff. That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. Moving on. More prevalent news is Justice League came out. We're going to talk about it the second half of the show for the entirety of it. And there's a lot to say. But now is that it's not doing very well critically or in the box office.
You know what? I actually think that critics are being too harsh on it.
Let's talk about box office first. Kale, what are your thoughts on the box office to this film?
It's weird that we're complaining about a movie that made almost $100 million on the opening weekend, but that's where we're at. This movie should have done more. That's why people are saying it's a failure, because when you compare the box office to the Avengers movies and even to Batman v Superman, it's a disappointment. Like, this should not have made dollars at the box office. So for it to have done that bad, or to do that 96 million or 90, I guess it's like 93 or 94 now, it's just disheartening, because it's disheartening in it, but it also shows that audiences are proving with their wallets that we're not going to just go out to see a big team up movie just because you put all of our favorite heroes in. You've had to have these characters established, and had to have everything. You had to have done some of the legwork that Marvel had done over a period of time in order to have earned the $200 million opening weekend or now. And I just don't think Justice League is going to hold, especially after Coco Star Wars is out.
Yeah. I think Coco's already.
It already did it.
Well, I mean, it's as the word spreads over the weekend of Coco.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that I feel that people are not only the thing is that people are they're weary of whether or not I should go see this movie. They're everybody went out to go see BVS because they were like, well, Man of Steel wasn't bad.
That was the definition of like a mixed response.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
People loved it, hated it, and in between.
Man of Steel, it's not a terrible movie. It's not like you can people could find things that they enjoyed in Man of Steel, and you can find a Superman movie in there, and everything else. But the thing is that when everybody went out to go see BVS, thinking like, oh, this is going to be just like that one. And BVS was not the same movie that people were expecting. No. People were really like they were shot in the foot when they went to go see that movie, and they
or in the face, or stabbed in the heart.
But the thing is that they were blown up. The thing is that they went to go see this. They went to go see this movie expecting a different movie, and the thing is that people were disappointed. And then now that you know Zack Snyder, you're going to have Justice League and everything like that, people are just kind of weary of going and spending it's an expensive experience, especially for parents, to go, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go spend $100 to take my kids to go see a fucking movie over the weekend. It's a big expense to go see this movie.
Also, let's explain. We're from California, the LA region specifically. So here, movie tickets are generally pretty expensive.
16.
Yeah. So if you have a large family and you're taking kids out to see a movie, it can go up to like $100. Yeah.
You put a family of 4,
including food and whatever. So
it's an easy $100 expense. You're easily spending a bill to go see this movie. And some parents are going to wait and go, I'm going to wait to see what critics have to say or what other people have to say. And I think, yes, critics are being unjustly critical of this movie. I think what people are judging the movie on is based off of its production more than what the substance of the film was.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because I have lots to say about the substance.
We'll talk about
we'll get there.
I don't think critics are completely 100% too harsh.
I think the general idea for me is that just go out and see a movie that you want to be interested in. I wasn't intending to watch Justice League. I watched it because we were doing an episode on it. Otherwise, I would not have seen it. Because I just felt burned before. It's fine.
But that's what I'm talking about.
I hope you got a discount Tuesday ticket.
But anyways, I don't think it's necessarily about people being too harsh on it. I think some cases, sure, that's always the case with something. Someone's gonna hate something like more than they should, or dislike something, right? But I think it's telling when you see the movie that it feels like a checklist of things a studio thinks people want to see, as opposed to something like that was a vision by a bunch of people.
By no means do I not think that it's a checklist.
Yeah.
Because, what was it? People complained about Batman killing people and being too dark. Make him funny and he doesn't murder anybody. The movie was too long by some people. Fucking make that shit less than 2 hours. It was a movie. It's once again a Warner Brothers movie is made by community, not made by creative people. And that's a real fucking problem.
Yeah. The team up movies so far have been that, with the exception of BVS, because that's not really a team up movie until the end, and then they don't even talk to each other. There it feels a little more.
It sort of is.
Yeah.
When in the end it is.
I don't like BVS. I don't like Man of Steel, but those are Zack Snyder movies.
Right. I guess just wrapping it up, transitioning to, would you want a Zack Snyder cut of Justice League?
I don't think it fully exists, but I know there's a lot that they showed with the earlier cuts that does.
I wouldn't.
It could be like I don't know, but it's something like that exists, but it's not. It's not going to be with finished FX. It's not going to have like.
I feel like the Richard Donner.
Yeah, or it's going to be rough around the edges, but maybe better.
Who knows?
Different, because that movie has a lot of things that are very different.
There's a lot of sections where you're going like that was longer. Like this section, huh?
Personally, I would want to see a Zack Snyder cut. You're right, Diego. It would be rough around the edges, but I have to imagine it's better than anything that we got in this movie. I think it has to be at least Zack Snyder's 2 movies. And yes, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman are not great movies, but at least those movies have a personality and a vision of where they're going. Yeah. Whereas this movie felt like it was a race to just be comprehensible. That's how I feel about it just felt like we needed to make sure we're not completely losing our audience at any point.
I don't know, because I really do feel like the cut that Zack Snyder gave them, people, which the execs was very much going, this is more of the same shit. Yeah. You gave us more of the same when.
I know it will be probably dark and depressing too, but the thing is, at least there will be some sort of a vision at the end of
the CGI wouldn't be as noticeable, with the exception of like Steppenwolf or Cyborg.
Well, I think
PlayStation 2 villains.
I think you're saying, Kale, that it would benefit more from being like a coherent thought than like a bunch of thoughts from different people.
What? I'm sorry.
That's right. I'd say like it would benefit from being a coherent thought than a bunch of thoughts from a bunch of people.
Right. It would just benefit more if we had a collective vision from Terrio and Snyder, rather than, oh, let's get Jeff Johns and then let's get not dissing these people at all, but it's just better if we have like a more collective vision before the tragedy, and before Warner Brothers finally just came in and just said, oh, wait, okay, we're going to mandate it to where we're going to give everyone the 2-hour Cliff Notes version of what we were going to make.
Yeah, but the thing is that, remember, this movie is about making fucking money.
All movies are about making money,
but the thing is that
they don't need to be so haphazard.
Yeah, but from what I'm hearing from these previous screenings that people had, the movie was unintelligible. People were confused. Right. There were things that just didn't make sense in the movie. There was stuff that was, left hanging. It kind of sounded like it was a mess, even if it was Zack Snyder's vision. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that comes from, the tragedy that Zack Snyder had in the middle of making the movie. I don't think he was fully there. So, I don't think he was 100% checked in. I think he was 25% checked in, and he was 75% checked out. And that's the reason why the cut they got, they needed to salvage. And I think what we have right now is the best possible outcome we could have had. Because from what I hear from these screenings, it was way, way worse.
If that's the case, then
wow. Yeah, we'll save that. That's the opposite of what I'm aware of. But Thanksgiving is a weird holiday to celebrate because America is kind of fucked up and colonialism is bad. So we're going to talk about Black Friday instead. But specifically Shane Black Friday, a holiday we're dedicating to the man Shane Black, responsible for Lethal Weapon, Iron Man 3, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, The Nice Guys. I haven't said which one's my favorite. We're going to talk about our favorite Shane Black movies. Okay. Kale, you're the guest. I want you to go first. What is your favorite Shane Black movie?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay, yeah. All right. There you go.
I love that movie. I love how it's structured. I even love that we begin with essentially a robbery and then end with with our main character basically fighting off criminals. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I love where the movie goes. I just love how it just, normally if I told you every single event that happened in this movie, you would think it was an incoherent mess, but somehow it's still cohesive and somehow still entertaining the whole way through. Mm-hmm. And Val Kilmer's performance as Gabe Harry, is that what it is? Yeah, the name? It's a fantastic performance, along with Robert Downey Jr. Giving another, the collaboration that Robert Downey Jr. and Shane Black have together. It's just incredible when they bring together. And also, somebody please give Michelle Monaghan some more work. Please, let's give her something.
She's so good in that movie.
Sorry?
She is. I don't know why she's in
MI6. She's in the new MI6 movie.
MI6? Mission Impossible?
Oh, yeah. Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but she's not allowed to do in those either.
Well, this one, I would think.
I would hope.
Yeah. I think she is. I think almost a lot of people are coming back. That's been throughout the franchise. But yeah. Yeah, somebody, because she's really good in movies. And she really does play the comedy while also being a really good actress.
Yeah.
I'd agree. Nick, favorite Shane Black movie?
Mine's already taken. Which I would have to either go with.
No, you can just say it. We're not fighting over them.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is definitely my favorite. I really do like what was it? Predator, and also.
Because he started in it.
Well, he started and he also co-wrote it. He wrote all his parts.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, sure. I'll take it.
Writing blocks in
I'll
there.
take it. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some of the best parts of it.
I think he was writing Lethal Weapon on that set.
He was writing Lethal Weapon on the set. To be totally honest, I love the Lethal Weapon series as well.
Well, he's only responsible for 1.5.
Yeah. But I really do think that I really like Iron Man 3. I like the tragedy that Shane Black is able to get into, Tony Stark's head. It's very much a man who has PTSD and he's trying to get over it the entire movie. Whether or not is he just a man? Is he a hero because of the machine, or is he just a hero? And I like Iron Man 3 because you don't see him in the suit a lot. You get to hang out with Tony Stark instead of just hanging out with Iron Man and stuff like that.
And the Mandarin twist is great because it reminds you that the military-industrial complex is a thing.
Well, yeah.
It's a cool twist.
It's great.
Okay.
It's a cool twist, too. That's
great.
Yeah, it's a nice twist. I mean, I think people are, and I do
Stupid. No.
I do like the if you see the one shots that Marvel has, they did
insinuate
that there is a real man somewhere.
I like that one shot up until that point.
Really?
Because it feels like they're backtracking because
fans are.
I mean, you had to get the idea of the Mandarin from something.
Yeah, I mean that's the
Eastern iconography that people think are like scary Middle Eastern boogeymen. Like that's all we needed.
But I mean, they already mentioned that there was a 10 ring.
There was a 10 ring, so
it makes sense. There is a terrorist organization.
Well, if you look back, let's say that one shot doesn't exist. There's a really interesting idea that Guy Pearce's version of the Mandarin has been just fucking with Tony over the course of these movies, in his own little ways. While he's building up this private military contracts, he's funding terrorists.
He wasn't really involved with the 10 ring, leading them.
No, but he's involved in all these different.
Hey, you know what that sounds like, Spectre?
Yeah, it does. But Spectre plays it off way dumber.
But what was it? But yeah, I really do like Iron Man 3. I think that what was it? It was a nice change of pace for Iron Man, and everything like that. People may not like that movie as much, but I
Same. Gene?
I think I'll go with The Nice Guys. Is my choice. It's a
very good choice.
Yeah, it's a cool period piece, and it shows Los Angeles at that time dealing with the smog issues that went with the city, and that's part of the main plot. But I think that's his coolest film. It has so many cool one-liners from Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. You get to see him as kind of a cowardly kind of comedic role.
Is it safe to say that that's Ryan Gosling's best performance?
Yeah, I guess.
I really enjoy it. The only problem I have with it is I always picture Robert Downey Jr. and
Val
Kilmer in those roles, just because it was originally written as.
Yeah, I mean you could see them, but I think they.
Oh no, that is not true.
Oh, it's not.
No, Kiss Kiss or Nice Guys was written a decade ago, maybe even more, maybe less.
So longer than that.
Right? Yeah, it was a while in development.
I thought it was always meant to be a.
They tried to make it a show, and it didn't really work out.
No, it's a nice girl.
Now it's which is a whole weird thing. Not because they're girls, just because it's about stupid men in the first place. I don't know. That's a whole thing.
But it's.
But it was supposed to be its own thing for a while, and then it just never took off.
Yeah.
But I'll go with that because it's just. I think it's such an interesting work of his, and it says. I think it's. Of all the messages it has, it's the most impactful, I guess, on pollution and all that.
It also might be the nicest Shane Black movie.
Oh yeah,
because if you look at a lot of stuff he's written, The Long Kiss Goodbye, or what's the one with Bruce Willis?
Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero. Okay, that's a nice feeling one. But what's the one with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans?
The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah, that's a mean movie.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about Last Action Hero?
I love that movie.
I think it's great.
I love Last Action Hero. I think that's one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I enjoyed watching that movie. Just the fantasy of it. Who doesn't want to jump into their favorite action movie and play a role?
Yeah,
I don't want to get shot at, so I'm good.
No, but I mean
but I'll leave it to movies. Yeah,
but everybody's always wanted to.
It's a fun little adventure thing.
Yeah, it's a nice little adventure, and then but I mean even then you think it's fun, and even the characters are oh, this is fun. He can't die, and then in reality, you're going wait, I can get fucking killed here.
Yeah.
We could die.
Yeah, the Dark Tower tries to do something like that.
Yeah.
You guys see that?
The Dark.
Yeah.
The Dark Tower.
It attempts to.
It tries to do something like that. It doesn't work.
I don't like to think about it.
I got flashbacks to.
I don't like to think about it.
I got flashbacks to a shitty version of Last Action Hero. All right. I think my favorite would be next year's Predator. I'm just assuming it's gonna be my favorite because I love Predator and I love Shane Black.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you could say that. I mean, you could go visit the future right now.
Yeah. No, I think my favorite is actually Nice Guys too.
Okay.
Yeah, that for all the reason you said and more. Yes. There's not alcohol in these.
There's no more alcohol in mine.
No, yeah, I thought it was a really surprisingly touching movie.
Yes.
As well as being kind of mean-spirited, like Shane Black stuff.
A little bit.
But like in a good way, not just because he's like, fuck people.
Yeah.
Like the counselor or something,
like
you know.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. But
Michael Bay doesn't like people.
no, but that's okay. I don't really like people either. And so yeah, Shane Black, good guy. Predator comes out next year. There's a stop motion poster somewhere online that looks cool.
Looks good.
Like lightning and shit. Did you guys see that?
I did, yeah. It's a cool.
No, he's dead.
It's a very, very cool poster.
Yeah.
And what didn't?
Nice.
Did you see the motion stop poster, Kale?
Yes, it's really nice.
Yeah,
Really interesting.
Yeah, Shane Black said he wanted to like make the Predator movie like an event. And I was like, okay, well, it's the Predator. It's like this low key thing. And then you see the motion poster, and it's like lightning going over the suburbs, shaping out the outline of the Predator. I'm like, okay, that's a cool poster. I get it now. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Moving on, we're gonna talk about some other DC movies we want to see in the universe. Justice League's gonna set some people back. Obviously, Cyborg 2020 is not happening, right? Like that's just not.
I think you were Phil.
Sad, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that was ever gonna happen. I think they were just saying a lot of things people wanted to hear. No. They're like, well, Marvel Studios is doing it.
Honestly,
you know?
Who knows?
For the longest time, I didn't want Cyborg in the Justice League movie at all.
I still don't.
I think I've always put Cyborg in with Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a very interesting idea is if he's, part of this, if like he's friends with them and he's able to get the financing from Bruce Wayne to fund another team of like young heroes.
But he's not a teenager in Justice League, though.
No, Justice League gets a lot of things wrong.
He's like 20? He's like maybe like
20?
He's
the
He's
kid.
in his mid-20s.
Yeah, he's in his 20s,
Yeah.
right? Like he's like maybe like 40, something like that. Well, yeah, because how long was he dead for in the movie? Well, because
I don't know.
No, because he was supposed to still be in high school when he fucking got injured. That's why.
No, he was in Gotham University.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was at Gotham University.
He was at the football game.
He was at the football game. That's
oh
right.
yeah, back in.
Right. I thought he was in high school. No,
Yeah.
he's in college. That still is weird. I guess unless like you can make a team up movie with Cyborg.
It's very convoluted, Nick.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah,
convoluted.
it's weird. There were supposed to be more scenes with Cyborg in it.
Yeah,
Like,
he's blind and stuff.
To explain like how exactly he was injured.
Also, fun fact: apparently, he dies at the end.
Really?
That's
He
what I
dies.
did hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear that there were.
I don't know how true that one is, but I've heard that.
I did hear that like Cyborg dies in a cut.
Yeah, and then it was going to end with. Well, we'll talk about it.
How
Jake,
weird.
start with you last time.
Mhm.
What DC movie would you want to see?
I would want to see one of the like adaptions of one of their Crisis books. So like maybe Final Crisis or Infinity Crisis, more like multiverse.
I feel like that's what they're going.
Yeah, I
I feel like they
they're
have to
going.
because they want to reboot again.
I feel like
Well,
that's what
like,
they're going.
You
That's
mean
what-
like a specific plot line?
No, like character, plot line, whatever.
Oh,
something
sure.
you want to see
Okay.
from DC Comics in the movies.
I would want to see a Batman film. I like the Batman film that Matt Reeves is like doing, where you get like it's
Reeves.
Kind of, Reeves, sorry. It's kind of like Seven. What'd you say?
I have no idea. There's nothing out about it.
Oh, or the game. I've heard.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
I've
like
heard
the
It's
game.
supposed to be a detective movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to
That's
be.
what you are.
I would want to see something more with like villains you haven't seen before. So like
Mhm.
Black Mask
I like that.
or Man Bat. Just more of
Condiment King.
Condiment
yeah.
King, yes.
Kite Man.
Mhm.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm still saying.
I'm not.
Dude, I'm still saying that one of the best Batman movies that's come out in the last like 4 years is still Lego
There you go, Batman.
Oh yeah, dude, that's like top 3. Hands down.
It's one of the best.
Lego Batman's great.
movies.
Everyone go watch that.
The minute I saw Condiment King, I like in my seat went like, yes.
Yeah. But you know what I would want to see? I would want to see them because they're eventually going to have to recast Batman.
Then
Yeah,
We'll get there too. Let's not
But,
get into that
I
yet.
would want to see something like Batman R.I.P. Like you,
the death of Batman.
Death of Batman. Like you adapt one of Grant Morrison's stories, and you could kind of change the Batman to Dick Grayson for a while.
My thing
That
is
would work
that
because that's I think Grant. That's my favorite Grant Morrison title.
But the thing is that if you do the death of Batman, the reason why once again, just like in
Well, he doesn't die.
The Return, well, I mean, you would have to do it after the Final Crisis when Darkseid kills him.
No, you don't.
I mean, you could.
You just change it. It's
Yeah,
not,
you can change it up. You can change it up, but I mean, the thing is that there's no heart behind it.
No, like all the Dr. Hurt stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's no heart behind it. You haven't had Batman in a movie. This Batman in a movie for long enough to give a shit.
I don't think the Batman in the movie gives a shit.
You haven't set up like the Bat family and stuff like that. Like a battle for the cowl. Would be a fucking
you could. You could wait until they showed the other Bat family.
Like you would have to, but I'm saying that this movie is like at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Like that. Like,
well, at least 5 years.
You have to introduce like an entire Bat family. Fucking his villains and stuff like that.
I'll wait 5 years, but that's what I want.
Right. Kale, what would you want to see from the DC universe?
I wouldn't want to see a literal adaptation of Batman Year One, but a variation of it. I would love to see. I would like to see more like more of a TV adaptation of Year One, like him solving more crimes, him in his beginning phase of basically like let's see where I want to see more of the detective side of Batman and more of the like where it began. I know we got to see a lot of it in Batman Begins. But I think Batman Begins. But I think I don't think Batman Begins does enough of the mystery stuff. Correct? That Batman's known for. I mean, Batman's known as the greatest detective of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He should. I would love to see more of Batman just solving crimes and given a story where he has to fight Falcone, Carmine Falcone, and that kind of story. So those are the stories I would like to see. If any DC adaptation. Other stories I would like to see. I have my own ideas of Superman trilogy, and as I was talking, I don't know if it was you or Gene, but I was talking to let's see a Superman story where he's where he has to where he does learn the appreciation of life, but not through killing someone. That would be my way.
Yeah.
If anything, he would have to learn it through, having to watch someone he was trying to save die.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my way of, doing a Superman story because as Superman's presented as the Boy Scout, he doesn't need to kill people. Mm-hmm. Like he can literally throw people in a prison if necessary. Like literally just hold them, put them in a jail cell, and close the door. But yeah, I would like to see more of a. I'm a big Batman fan. I would love to see more Batman as a detective.
Okay,
that'd be my thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nick.
Easy, world's finest. I want to see. I want to see
proper team up movie.
I want to see a proper team up movie. I think
where they talk.
I think you can make it. A very Thor Ragnarok-esque, where I like the idea of there's a bounty on both Batman and Superman's head, and they have to work together to
Public Enemies.
Yeah, you can do Public Enemy, you can do World's Finest, where they're both trying to stop their biggest villains and everything like that. You can do so many things. I just want them to be friends.
Yeah,
and
feel like they're friends.
Make them feel like they're friends and bond. And because even Public Enemy, one of the greatest scenes is when Batman takes the ship into fucking space to go blow up a missile.
In the animated movie.
Yeah, in the animated movie. And then Superman's you just killed one of my best friends. And you can actually feel Superman, the rage of Superman feeling that his best friend just died and stuff like that. Or any other movie where Superman trusts Batman enough to give him kryptonite.
Or the ring.
And stuff like that. Yeah, a kryptonite ring or anything else. I think that I just want more friendship. I want to actually believe these people like each other. Not that they're just forced to be there.
Yeah, that's good.
I think one of the greatest scenes inside of Justice League was when Aquaman sits on the lasso of truth on accident.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the funniest and greatest scenes inside the movie, where it's an honest idea of what he's thinking and how exactly he doesn't want to die, and he's being honest with the entire team. It's a bonding kind of thing. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, for me, Green Lantern all the way. I think it's ridiculous that we haven't had a Green Lantern movie yet.
Green Lantern was shown.
Was it?
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
I'm going to tie this all together. I would love to see a Green Lantern movie directed by Shane Black.
There you go.
I don't know if I want to see that, actually.
I don't know.
Oh, come on. You do. And deep down inside.
I don't know.
I don't know how it would work with all the special effects.
And it would probably be good, but I don't know if I want that. Yeah, is all.
I'll add one more. I'd really want a New Gods movie. because they're hardly in Justice League, like all the new guys.
I don't know how he would pull off a new Gods movie. I mean, I think
Mr.
Look,
Miracle.
honestly,
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had Kurt Russell as a giant horny planet. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
if you can get James Gunn to do the New Gods, I think that'd be funny. I think it would make a lot of sense. Go for it. Get Joss. Get Joss to do a New Gods movie.
I feel like he's not going to make Batgirl anymore because I feel like he's a fall guy.
He's a fall guy.
No,
like they're blaming him for Justice League.
No, because you know why? I don't think that they're going to blame him for Justice League at all. Because I think that it's going to be the argument of, well, look what you did.
Yeah.
Like I did,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting mixed reviews still from what I did, but before when you were doing like screenings, you were getting all negative reviews and everything like that. Like there was nothing positive that people were saying.
I haven't heard it was that bad.
I don't see him like, I really don't see him as the fall guy. I mean, like he liked a tweet making fun of the villain. I mean, it's like Steven, but it's not like.
Oh, I wasn't even referring to that.
Yeah, but I know it's one of those things of like.
I don't see him as a fall guy.
Yeah, how is
let's hold on to it. We'll open it with a Justice League discussion. One more thing, Kale, for a DC Red Sun movie. You haven't read the comic, right?
I've read the Wikipedia.
Okay.
The only good.
As many of your fans are now going to break down the doors.
Well, the basic concept of Superman Red Sun is Superman lands in communist Russia instead of Smallville. Yeah, which is bad for just a whole bunch of reasons. And the whole story revolves around that and how the perception of the world would change, how that changes him fundamentally as a human being, or I guess Kryptonian, who's being a human. And it's a really interesting concept, much like all Mark Millar comics. And like all Mark Millar comics, I don't like it, but it's a great concept. So, Kale, in your perfect world, how do you see this movie? Who's working on it?
I would like to see Doug Liman direct the movie. First of all, because I think Doug Liman does political thrillers very well. He did. He did The Bourne Identity, which people don't love it, but they love the sequels more. But I still think Doug Liman really does, he could really bring something to it. And also, it seems like he's been wanting to do a superhero story about a character that has, that's not quite sure of his place or is not necessarily the hero of the story. And from what I've read of the Wikipedia, Superman is very much more through the prism of just of what I've read. He's not the good guy. He's not, someone, that we know. He's not the good person. We'll just say that. And so I would like to see Doug Liman do that kind of movie. I would like to see Armie Hammer play Superman. And from a writer, I'm trying to think. Joni Gilroy, maybe. And then, or maybe Chris Terrio, because Chris Terrio also is a decent political writer. Anybody but Howard Gordon. Any Gordon. And then that's all I got. Just very interesting that the movie will end in Krypton. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It'd be cool to have Grant Morrison just to mess with Mark Millar as the writer. Grant Morrison, Mark Millar's rival.
Give Mark Millar a stroke.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. But I think you could do Red Sun, but I think you should do it like an apocalyptic movie where you're following the Resistance instead of following Superman.
So like the Nightmare.
Yeah, kind of like that, but you're not with any of the superheroes. You're with a Resistance fight.
Yeah, well, Batman was.
I think that would be a nice, that would be kind of like a nice change of pace. You're not actually following these heroes.
Or it'd be cool if it centers on Luthor, because he's the president in that timeline.
Yeah, I mean that'd be
kind of cool.
That'd be kind of interesting too. Kind of like from a different perspective, like you just kind of seeing, I think it'd be interesting of being like a man. You can do it very, what was it like Saving Private Ryan? Where you have like a soldier on the ground fighting against Superman's army. And stuff like that. You can very much like kind of like have that like to the ground war like aspect to it. And I think that would be kind of interesting.
I'm
Especially
not trying to burst your bubble, but that's literally the nightmare sequence, which I like. So you're not on the wrong path.
Does it center around a soldier?
Oh, I have another writer who could do it
It's Batman's family.
for Red Sun. Drew Goddard.
Oh, okay,
Drew
yeah.
Goddard could really do. I think Drew Goddard could really do it
Drew
with
Goddard
the team above Doug Lyman still.
Yeah,
What?
such a good writer. I was watching Alias back in the day,
Oh.
and I was like, this feels like a Drew Goddard episode. And I knew right away. I looked online. I was like, oh my god, he wrote this episode. And it's like the best one.
I actually wouldn't mind it if you did it as a spy thriller. If you had somebody in Superman's camp that was like
Jennifer Garner from Alias.
Yeah,
And
have somebody leaking information to Batman and stuff like that. You're kind of you're in the outside. You're in the outside just watching what Superman kind of does, and like it's like very like Departed-esque, where like he's always in danger. And especially since instead of you fighting against a mob boss, you're fighting against the fucking strongest man in the world, fucking with laser beam and stuff like that. So I think that would be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of cool. That's all. That's the show. Goodbye. No, yeah.
Great job, everybody.
That's done. Interesting story. I would need to be sold on a movie still. The nightmare sequence is a good kickoff point. Speaking of nightmares, we also saw Justice League, and we all walked away with different opinions of it. But no, let's start off with what we did like. I want to be positive. Kale, I know you might like it even less than I did. What did you like about Justice League? Like, be honest. Like, there's got to be something that you enjoyed.
I liked the end credits, but I like the Superman resurrection scene where Superman's just at his memoriam and everyone is like showing up and they're all like, "Oh shit, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" And even like Cyborg starts, his mechanics start panicking. It's all through and through. It's a really good scene, even to the point where we're in spoilers, right? We can do spoilers
for Justice League.
Even when Superman says to Batman, "Do you bleed?" I was like, me and my friend Chris and Brandon, we were sitting together, just like, "Oh my god, this movie just got amazing." And then he just throws Batman down.
Batman realized he does bleed.
Yeah, but I honestly, I felt like that scene was somewhere else though.
Well, here, let's talk about what we liked, and then we'll talk about what diverged, what didn't, and how surprised you'll be when you hear how much you actually like the Zack Snyder stuff this time. Sure. Gene, what did you like about it?
I like Batman didn't kill anyone.
I know, dude. Like, it's a movie. Who cares about that?
Because it's like they keep reinforcing this idea that of this misconception of Batman that's like really easy to get. Like I was telling Kale, it's like 1 + 1 = 2. Like it just goes with the character, and that's more of a general sense where it's like they got the characters right. Like Superman smiles. Like I felt all the Superman scenes in Justice League were way more interesting than anything you saw in BVS or Man of Steel, like him being like, like I believe in truth, justice. That was really cool. Like I felt all that stuff was like way more interesting than let's explore how he's a Christ-like figure for 2 movies.
Yeah.
And he acts like how he does in the comics, where he's like, he's not a depressed guy and he's more of a proactive figure. So I like that they got those 2 characters right. And I did like parts of Danny Elfman's score. I will say that. I think he reuses some kind of variations of his earlier Avengers work, but I didn't mind him like reusing the Batman theme, or he reuses Williams' Superman theme, but it's sinister. So I kind of like the music. I just don't like when he reused the Avengers theme. I think it's a decent soundtrack. And sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, trying to blank here.
We just come back to you.
No. I like that the characters actually got to interact with each other and talk to each other instead of like, what's the Zack Snyder line where it's like, that doesn't make sense. 2 people in costumes talking to each other.
Yeah, and then he goes on to dress Justice League.
Yeah, so like, it was just cool to see them actually talk to each other and interact and be like, make sense for them to feel for each other instead of like just randomly grieving, like Batman does at the beginning of this movie. And yeah, some of the action sequences were good. The League versus Superman, that was a good sequence. Some of the glimpses that you saw into the other parts of the DC universe, I really enjoyed.
So you liked everything?
What's that?
You liked everything?
No, I didn't like some parts of it. but because I feel like for Easter eggs and cameos and like kind of being, like doing what Marvel does with their cinematic universe, BVS had some of the worst Easter eggs I've ever seen. Like, that's not how to do an Easter egg. Like, I remember the scene with Cyborg and the mother box. My friend was sitting next to me, he literally was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, in the middle of the scene, I'm like, "That's a mother box." And he's like, "What's a mother box?" So as this scene's going on, I'm like explaining what a mother box is. I'm like, "It's an iPad for the gods. It could do whatever." And the scene's still going, and then like, Darkseid uses it. And I'm explaining it to him, and it's like, you shouldn't have to do that for an Easter egg, if it's, so.
Oh, they did the same thing in Thor Ragnarok. If you didn't know it.
No, but that wasn't such like the movie didn't like stop and like it revolves around.
I feel like that's a little too much of a complaint. I mean, it doesn't.
No, it's
the problem is the scenes don't really like add up to anything in that movie.
No, but that's not how you do it. If you have to like sit down and explain to someone like it interrupts your viewing experience.
I had to do the same thing in Thor.
Yeah.
When they showed the Infinity Gauntlet in the
background. But it's in the background. Like,
or the end of Avengers when Thanos shows up. Like no one knew who Thanos was.
No, but that's like the Infinity Gauntlet that the camera passes by.
You're making me defend Justice League, Jim. Don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. Yes. You're making me defend BVS.
So are we into negatives now?
No.
But that's my positives. They could do Easter eggs better.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I thought there was a lot of stuff that was good.
Let's limit it to like 3.
Okay.
Just because Gene took a long time. It's all good. You liked it. Nothing wrong with that.
To be totally honest, I feel that I love the chemistry between the team. I think the team had a nice chemistry.
Like Cyborg.
The Cyborg and the Flash. I think that was a little weird when there was a scene with them digging
grave. Digging a grave.
We're not in negatives yet. Don't make me
slowly. But what was it? I actually thought there was a nice Batman retrospective.
I will say they were doing it slowly because they were respectful.
Okay, that's fine.
There you go.
But what was it? I did think
that so stupid.
I thought the retrospective of Batman that was an interesting idea of the fact that Superman is more human than I am. Because Batman Superman is actually, he holds a job. He found love. He's lived in this world. What have I done? I'm rich and I stay in a fucking mansion and I just keep to myself.
Beat
and I beat the shit out of people in the middle of the night. And like, he's more human and he has more of a connection to this world than I actually do. And I thought that was an interesting retrospective. Like, you know what? He has a fucking point. Like, it's a good idea. The Flash, I kind of liked. I feel like he was supposed to be comic relief.
Yeah.
And a lot of his actions worked, but a lot of his one-liners didn't. And that was, it was okay. And stuff like that. Besides that, there was a couple more stuff that I really liked, but I didn't want to.
It was a solid experience.
I'll put it in the defense because I already know it's 3 against 1 right now, and I'm down.
No, it's 2 against 2. It's pretty good right now.
It's 3 against 1. I'm gonna fight this fight.
Gene's on your side.
Is Gene on my side?
Yes.
Yeah, I like
okay, it's 2-on-2.
Yeah.
Then I think
you guys were on drugs and you liked it.
I think.
No. I really like the scene when Superman comes back, and the entire team, who I never really buy their chemistry because you just hop from scene to scene with them. They're not actually building anything. They're just talking, and you're not building a connection with them. I'm not negative. I'm sorry, but when they all fight Superman,
they're all useless.
You feel like them working together, but by this point it doesn't matter because Superman is Superman. And
like
the Flash is running around.
That scene is fucking cool.
That was amazing.
That was
legitimately cool.
I've ever seen of just like him fighting. He's in the Speed Force,
and he just catches the Flash out of the corner of his eye.
You see him look at him, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
I see you.
That's cool. And to the point of Batman too, I like that actually a lot because I finally got into like the rhythm of Batman versus Superman, where it's just like this nihilistic fascist thing that exists in our world about how much people suck and that Batman is a crazy person now. And I ended up liking it. I still think it's poorly put together, but I like that stuff and I like Lex Luthor a lot. And I missed him in this movie for the most part. We'll get there. Originally the idea was Batman was going to be like borderline suicidal going into the final fight.
Justice League?
Yeah. And Wonder Woman and Aquaman were going to save him in the finale where he was like driving off to like crash in a Steppenwolf or some shit. And they would have been like, you're more good to humanity alive than you would be if you were to become a martyr. And they inspire him to like live, which is kind of a cool idea. If this is the Batman that we have, that's a good narrative idea.
Like an arc for him, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good arc for him. If this, he's a crazy person now.
And you also see that in some of the Justice League animated cartoons. He's always like trying to sacrifice himself.
Well,
Yeah.
he always tries to sacrifice himself, and like he's like.
It's a good segue into like the known version of Batman.
Yeah,
you know?
but the thing is that's very Batman-esque of like the world doesn't need a Batman. The world needs a Superman. It needs a Wonder Woman. I'm here. I'm a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
And like all I do is I go on rooftops and scare the shit out of criminals and beat them to hell.
Yeah.
You know, and
let's see. I like this in BVS too. I like the design of the parademons. Yeah, they're kind of cool looking.
It's very cool.
Yeah, they have a nice design to them. I like that bug, like their bug shape, and I like their goggles and stuff like that.
I'm not gonna get anything else about the New God stuff because that's all negative for me. But the parademons look cool. I actually missed Zimmer's score, and I gave it a lot of shit because it's really loud.
Yeah.
I would say,
but
I
missed
half
it.
of it was like Junkie XL's score too.
It's all gone. None of it exists.
Yeah, but you know what?
I meant in BVS.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
You know what?
Both of them, I thought did excellent work.
I liked the idea that Danny Elfman had, like saying like you know, as Warner Brothers, we have a very long history of great scorers. Why shouldn't we use them? You know,
I like the idea of that too, but then that's not what this movie was made for initially.
Yeah,
and so it feels kind of jarring to me.
Honestly,
when he uses
but you know what? To be totally
is it
honest,
just the Batman theme or the Superman?
It's also the Superman theme too.
You don't like that?
As much as I love that theme, like that's the superhero theme.
No, you don't like him reusing it and making it sinister.
No, but
I really thought that
he used
was
it twice.
I mean,
he used it twice.
Yeah,
I just don't like the music in this movie. It's like everything else in the movie. It just feels like nothing. It feels just whatever. Just throw it in there. Like throw in the Batman theme and the Superman theme in there.
Yeah,
like
but
that's
there was a point to the Batman theme where it was he said that there's only one theme for Batman, so this was like him like calling back to the legacy.
But the thing is that also I think for the
but there's no theme for the Justice League.
No, there isn't really.
There's no central theme.
But
also Batman didn't have a theme in BVS really.
Yeah, but
it wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't memorable. It was like a Marvel. It wasn't a good theme.
Here's the thing, though. I think for the everyday moviegoer, they didn't even notice it was there.
Yeah.
They
didn't notice that there was old stuff probably either.
Yeah, because I went with my girlfriend and another person, and I told them at the very end, oh, it was really nice they put the Batman and the Superman theme in there. They were like, that was in there.
I think the problem is that it's also really subdued.
Yeah, like it
doesn't
not
feel like the difference between the score of the first Avengers and the second one.
Yeah,
Age of Ultron has some good music cues. For the most part, it's like, oh yeah, they got a different composer. I didn't know.
Yeah, like
I felt Danny Elfman's theme was better in Avengers 2 than
it's the same theme, just a little like.
Oh no! Like I think he added more.
Just a little bit more finite, or a little bit more revised.
You know how much I love Age of Ultron, but that's not the strength of that movie.
I liked his themes though in that film.
Huh?
I liked his work in Age of Ultron better than.
Okay, but I mean, for I'm talking about Justice League.
Okay, yeah.
I'm talking about in Justice League, not Age of Ultron. I think that the music was. I get that some people are going like the music is bad and everything like that. But for me, it was a nice little like Easter egg for me because I enjoyed. Because as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I enjoyed that. Most people not even gonna fucking notice. People are not gonna notice that.
I noticed.
Huh?
Yeah, he noticed.
Yeah,
he noticed. Yeah,
you're looking for it. You honestly, you were diagnosed.
Well, no, I don't even think it's that we're looking for it. I think it's just that we know it.
Yeah, but you know it so well. But also, I think unintentionally when you're watching a movie. Or anything like that, you're paying attention to the theme. You're going because the theme has to do everything with the scene as well. The theme, this music combined with the scene is going to give you the entire film, and a lot of people just give a shit about it.
I think you'd be surprised how much more people care about the music than the other one. There's a reason why people complain about the Marvel music not carrying over for a while.
Yeah, I know, but I do think that not a lot of people notice that those two themes.
Well, the music is a problem for me, but it is so far and away the last problem for me. So just really quick negatives, because we don't have a lot of time. We're still going to get to Nunez.
We still have to get to a different segment. Negatives. I thought it was really weird that at the very end of the movie, it was like, hey, this is my house, but it's turning into a clubhouse. That Bruce Wayne did. Yeah. I didn't like the Flash all that much. I thought the Flash was...
it was kind of a hindrance.
I thought he was very useless. Like,
he's always stumbling and falling.
Yeah, not only that, but also as one of the most powerful members of the league, he was pretty fucking evil. useless. Like, oh, Barry, go get people. Like, don't help us in the fight against a new guy. Go help get people out and stuff like that. I mean, yes,
he was
It's
still
a
working.
good idea, though. It's a good idea. Get everyone out of the city that's still here.
But I think I feel like for the Flash, that would have like been boom, boom. All right, done.
Yeah.
Gene?
I would say the negatives. It kind of had a incoherent vision. I'll say a little bit of that. The villain was just terrible. Like Steppenwolf, I just not.
Is Malekith bad? He might be worse than Malekith because at least Malekith is real.
Oh, he's definitely worse than Malekith. At least Malekith had motivation.
Steppenwolf is bad. Some of the jokes kind of fall flat. And Batman still kind of uses a gun. He uses an alien weapon. And one scene in the final battle, so they still haven't learned some stuff.
You know what? I think it's really weird that like I have to keep on like referring back to the Justice League animated series where it's like there's a scene where he battles where he battles Darkseid.
He's like, oh, that's not my style.
Yeah, and like he's like running out of batarangs, and then Luthor hands him a gun. He's like, here's a gun. Use this. And he's like, not my style. And he's like, all right, well, you're gonna fucking die.
And he doesn't.
And like, I just don't understand why at no point they were like, that's a simple joke, and it keeps to the and it keeps to the
simple request. You see, just do it.
Kale, negatives. You got to rapid fire it though.
Okay, the thirsty line.
That was weird.
God, Lee, that was terrible.
Was it?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. Wait, Nick, you didn't get the thirsty joke? Should I explain it?
No,
he got it. He just didn't know it was Whedon.
I didn't know that was Whedon. I thought that was
a lot of the third act stuff is Whedon. All the Superman stuff, with the exception of like some of the stuff on the farm, is Whedon.
No, that was Snyder.
Mm-hmm. No, the stuff on the farm was Snyder.
Yeah, but
everything else is Whedon.
Yeah, what was the last two things?
Some of the others, I just didn't really care for a lot of what Whedon brought in. Like, yes, his Superman stuff, like everything he brought in with Superman was really well done. It's just a lot of his additions were kind of the worst sides of Whedon as we've seen. Like there's that whole joke of Flash falling on Wonder Woman's cleavage, and then there's
that's an Age of Ultron, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
that was in that too.
And some of the other stuff I didn't really like. Generally, the problem I have with the film, just to kind of speed it up, is it just felt so much like disposable lettuce. Like it just felt like consuming iceberg lettuce, where it just felt like nothing really built to anything, and nothing really was emotionally moving. Mm. Like there's moments in the movie where you might get an emotional moment, never really builds to anything conclusive. And while, yes, it's great to see Superman smiling and Batman not killing people and Wonder Woman still being, empowered and all, that's all fantastic. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really mean anything if the movie has nothing going on of anything interesting. Because the thing about Avengers, yes, you can say Loki shows up, he, starts some shit, and then the Avengers have to come together and save the day. While you can say that that's the basic plot of Avengers, but the thing is, there's an emotional through line through that movie, and not only that, there's an emotional through line through those characters. For me, there's not really that much going on with each of the characters.
Yeah.
So while I like the cast particularly, there's just nothing emotionally going on with each character. And that was my biggest problem with Justice League.
My thing is that, there was a couple of things that, like, yes, something that we didn't work and everything like that, but we don't know what the studio asked him.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what...
He came in as a hired gun. He wasn't going to reshape...
He wasn't going to reshape the movie.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive they had, like, things where they were like, listen, we think this would be funny here. Put a joke here. We don't really care what it is. Put a joke here. Like, we don't really know what the studio asked. And the studio could have asked for some fucking bonkers shit. And, he was forced to kind of put it in. And stuff like that. So, I mean, we don't know what happened behind closed doors. And everything else of what the studio.
I will say you can tell what is Whedon and what is not, though. Just the way it's shot and lit and color corrected.
Yes,
it is blatant.
That's
and I will not put the mustache problem on anybody in particular. That was a bad hand they got dealt.
I was telling them they should have just given him a beard.
They should have.
Because
I guess my last little problems with it. It's weightless. It is meaningless. This is the first Justice League movie ever, and it's probably as bad as Thor: The Dark World for me. Just a completely inefficient sea bass of a movie. There you go. It's sea bass. Like Matt and I say all the time now.
At least in Thor 2, Loki has a through line. So
every
at
movie
least
pterodactyls in it, but this is like
okay.
This is awful. Watch Citizen Kane. That's all I'll say. Watch Citizen Kane.
Look for the pterodactyls.
Yeah, look for the pterodactyls in Citizen Kane. So, it's very literal. But that's all of our thoughts on Justice League. Not very happy about it. Let's cut to a quick interview, and then we're going to wrap up the show. We're here with Susan Eisenberg, Wonder Woman herself, at Stan Lee's LA Comic-Con, Kamikaze, whatever it's called now. I'm Diego Crespo. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm here. It's exciting. Fans everywhere. It's all good.
You portrayed Wonder Woman in the much beloved Justice League animated series.
Yes.
It's a big year for Wonder Woman. What does it feel like to be a part of such a broad legacy for the character?
It feels extraordinary. It feels like a privilege. And I'm just so grateful that I'm around to be interviewed, to know that I played even a small part in her history. It's an honor, truly.
What do you think it is about the character that's endured for so long? And she's kind of like the feminist icon for superheroes.
Exactly. I mean, she's a feminist icon. She's an icon. She has endured all these years, 75 years, and she's the only one out there. I mean, she was created to stand next to Superman and to stand next to Batman, and she's been doing it all these years. She's not lesser or greater than either one of them. She's equal to. And so I think that she will endure for the next 75 and 75 after that. She's extraordinary.
Given your time in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, is there any particular aspect that you really admired about the character the most, or like a specific story that you constantly refer to?
You know, there are a couple. I mean, so I loved the beginning when she's leaving Themyscira and she was vulnerable, and then you see her grow up throughout the series. So I loved watching her acclimate to the League and to like forge bonds within the League, and I love that. I love that she became a leader within that League, and also I loved the relationship with her and Batman. I thought that was like adorable and sweet, and I loved her relationship with Jean because they were both outsiders, and they were both coming from these other places and had to acclimate to these new spaces, and they did it kind of together. So I loved that.
Speaking of Batman and Wonder Woman, that was really the first time that had been done as a romantic interest, possibly.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about those characters that drew them together?
You know, you'd have to ask the writers and Bruce Timm, because they created that arc, that story arc. But I just know that I loved playing it because it was a different side to her. It wasn't the princess or the warrior. It was just this. It was a different angle to her personality, so it was that flirty Wonder Woman, which was a joy to play. At the same time, I always say, like, I don't need them to go off and get married and have children. I loved that it was will they, won't they, she knows that he adores her, and I loved her catching him in all these little moments when he was talking about her and his feelings for her with Green Lantern, and she's right behind him. I mean, I just love all those moments. So it's like she's got his number, and she's probably the only one who does. So I love that.
And last question. You're pretty much the definitive Wonder Woman for a whole generation of fans who grew up with the animated series Justice League. Is there anything you'd like to see the films do with Wonder Woman now that they're essentially passing on, they're picking up the torch where you left off?
You know what, I think they're in good hands because I think Patty Jenkins and her team has such a strong sense of who Wonder Woman is, and I think they're going to honor who this woman is, and she's going to be a warrior, and she's going to be this princess, if you will, and I think they're going to honor both those sides of her. So, I mean, I know she's in good hands. going forward. I have no doubt that the fans have waited so long for this, and I think they will not be disappointed. I mean, that's my personal feeling about it. I mean, but stay tuned. I think we're all excited.
Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for watching the Waffle Press Podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So usually we do a Kirk Watches segment, but Kirk's not here. So we have the next best thing, the Kirk Experience, Anthony Nunez.
Hopefully we don't have to kill him.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Better do good, buddy.
So Nunez, I briefed you on kind of Kirk watches. Kirk doesn't watch movies, but you watch movies.
I watch a little bit more.
Yeah, no, you watch a lot of movies. You watch a lot of
I guess. I mean, like compared to you guys, but yeah, I do think I watch more movies than the average person. But yeah, no, the most recent movie I watched is called Dark Places.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off the book. It's based off the book from the same author as Gone Girl, and yeah, that's pretty much like the most recent random movie I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, dude. What you guys? Have you guys heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah,
Tell me a
it came
little
out
about
like
it.
in
Oh yeah,
3 years ago.
I've seen this movie.
2015, 2016, definitely like I think it was straight to pay-per-view or DVD.
It was in the theater for like a day.
Was it?
It was a day-to-day release.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check it out then.
So would you recommend it to us?
Would I recommend that movie? I don't know. Maybe like if you have nothing else to watch and if you like true crime movies.
Did you like it more than Justice League?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My man.
It feels like it kind of tries to go for that like
To Dark Place.
that mind hunter / Zodiac vibe.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it
Like David Fincher light?
Yeah, David Fincher. It definitely tries to attempt to go in that direction, but I feel like they, at the same time, they kind of struggle with like we don't want to deviate from the book too much, and they just don't always balance that really well.
Like, on a scale of 1 to Alien 3, how good is it?
How am I supposed to feel about Alien?
You're supposed to like it.
I
according
like
to him.
it. You're supposed to like it. Yeah.
It's a terrible movie. It's really wrong. That's what you're supposed to
You've never seen it, Nick?
Alien 3? Yes, I have.
Well, I don't believe you.
I've seen it.
I don't believe you.
Like 5 times.
I don't believe that at all.
And it's always bad.
So, Nunez, would you recommend?
The most interesting alien movie
I would
ever.
give it a barely passing recommendation.
Okay.
And definitely for like the niche audience. that
So-
likes most of those.
So if it was on cable,
Yeah, watch it.
if it was on cable, you'd watch it, or if it was on like on Netflix.
I mean, those are the exact circumstances. so yeah, I would recommend daytime.
Daytime TV.
Yeah.
Okay,
daytime would be
I'm
watch
down for that.
Or like
I'm
if you're
always-
like really sick and you're like stuck.
Yeah,
in your bed.
you're working from home. You'd watch. Yeah,
I'd watch that if I'm.
Yeah,
You have
if I'm
walking
sick.
pneumonia.
yeah.
I'm walking.
Well, thank you very much for joining us,
Thank you,
Anthony
Of course.
Nunez. Thank you for helping out with the cameras. Thank you, Jasmine, for helping
Bye,
out.
Anthony.
Thank you, Kale. Thank you, Kale, for joining us. We got to wrap up really quick because
We're gonna-
bad things are happening.
Yeah, Kale, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at MovieKale. You can also follow the channel to distribute. You can also follow my podcast at the Youth Critic, and you can also follow the channel that distributes this podcast at KC Network. Gene and I just did an episode on Justice League and superhero movies lately. That episode will be out Monday. Thanks to Diego, Gene, Nick, the whole Waffle Press. Thank you for letting me be on your show. It was great. I had a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Nick, thank you for joining me again.
No problem.
Yeah. What did you get Twitter yet?
I did get a Twitter.
Okay.
I do have a Twitter. Yeah, it's Nick Valero 1940.
Actually,
Why are you
not?
Is it not?
Is it not?
Not as good.
No, it's not.
It's not as see back.
I like how he was like, oh,
You
I
what?
know it
Yeah.
right now.
What is it?
You guys
It's,
keep going. I'll look it up.
All right.
Okay, all right, Gene.
I know I have a
Hang on, I'll
Twitter,
show
I don't know
you.
what it's called. Though.
It's you can find me on G9 at your Twitter and Instagram.
G's good for fun.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as well at DEWGO Waffles. Everything, links to everything I do over there because it's a lot.
We'll link where you can find
Yeah.
it. It's a place.
It's a place
It's a place
for people and things.
Yeah, social. It has media and social.
Yes.
sociality.
Internet, World Wide Web.
It's on the
World Wide
internet.
Web.
I'll just put Nick's name in the description. He doesn't know.
It's actually Nick 569.
You're not reading all that. Thank you for
0,
listening. Thanks for watching.
893.
You've been professionally unprofessional.
Too much
Bye.
I cared.